Television's automotive magazine, with your host, John Davis.
Hello and welcome to Motor Week. I'm glad you're with us. Now, this is hardly good news to Detroit, but yet another Japanese importer is making the U.S. scene. Mitsubishi, until now found only under the sign of Chrysler, is opening its own showroom doors. Their first offering is our first road test, the Mitsubishi Starion. After that, we come back down to earth with three familiar letters from Ford, LTD. We'll be looking at the unfamiliar new downsized version of their family sedan. In the maintenance department, Pat Goss tackles a couple of sticky problems from you viewers, and Joyce Braga turns to Europe for her offering, this week with a preview of the new Audi 5000. Okay, let's blast off then with Mitsubishi's new starry-eyed hopeful. Now, this car comes along at a time when the American car-buying public seems to be getting more sophisticated. Gone are the days when dealers could sell you any old hag wrapped in the latest fashions. Gone, too, are the days when Japanese cars had meaningless numbers and letters attached to various models. It's all out in the open now, and a whole new terminology is being used. The latest car maker to jump on this bandwagon is Mitsubishi, finally selling cars under their own name. And their flagship, this spaceship, called the Starion.
No, I didn't mispronounce the name. It is Starion, not Stallion, like almost everyone thought when word about the car first leaked out. Nobody seems to be quite sure where the name came from, which means it's probably the work of some computer. It doesn't really matter, since the colloquial definition will be something like samurai road rocket. The Starion is the latest and most distinctively styled of the recent rash of sports coupes from Japan. The chiseled cowcatcher nose is complete with disappearing halogen headlights, and the theme is continued with a deep air dam that makes the Starion aerodynamically very slippery. There are a few too many styling doodads for our taste, no less than 3 fake hood vents, and the fully openable hatch breaks much too abruptly from the roof. But it does have a few redeeming social values, too. For instance, all Starions are turbocharged. Any time under 10 seconds for a flash from 0 to 60 is considered fast by today's standards. The Starion's 9 seconds thus qualifies candidly. With the largest 4-cylinder you can buy and a tiny turbo to boost, power is low to mid-range. To wit, a super-fast passing time of 4 seconds from 40 to 55. Stoplight dragging should also be a winning experience, with only slight second-gear wheel spinning and a time of 9.7 seconds and 60 miles per hour over our 500-foot course. Finally, the quarter mile disappeared rapidly through crisp changes of the Starion's 5-speed manual, 17 seconds and 83 miles per hour, clearly enough to wind up in most traffic courts without a second chance. While straight-line dashes were effortless and near perfection, handling also rates high. Through a tight slalom course, the car ducks quickly from plowing understeer to tail-hanging oversteer. Yet the quick rack and pinion steering unit lets you concentrate on the road and not the car. You could probably leave the rear end in space a bit too long, and there is a sense that the steering's power boost unit could not handle this lane change faster. Yet few drivers are ever likely to push the Starion hard enough to find out. On the other hand, the sticky Japanese-made Goodrich radials and 4-wheel independent suspension allow secure transits through our emergency avoidance test, making the well-balanced Starion just right for slipping through any blacktop hole. Braking lets the Starion shine even brighter. The optional computerized anti-lock system that includes a limited slip differential automatically modulates rear-wheel braking pressure. The result is a quick stopping average of a very short 32 feet from 30 miles per hour, with only a mushy brake pedal to give us any complaint. With ventilated disc brakes at all corners, stops from 55 were also straight and without fade. And try as we might, we couldn't overwork the anti-lock system. 6 panic stops averaged a very impressive 104 feet, with not one tire stopping before it was supposed to. Clearly, the Starion should be able to visit even the smallest asteroid. The feeling of being in a spaceship continues on the interior. They greet you with electronic music and optional velour-covered seats that have more adjustments than those on the space shuttle. While slightly too firm, but with oodles of support in all the right places, their only major drawback is enough rearward travel to be perfect for astronauts taller than 5'10". Rear seat passengers will be limited to the little green variety. But at least they won't see red by having to crawl over the front shoulder belts. The Starion has them hinged neatly on the door panels. The only problem to this design is that when strapped in, you can't open the door. Still, it's a long overdue change. The rest of the interior is less ingenious, but very competent, with a full-width dash that looks more expensive than on most Japanese cars. The instrument pod on our car featured inverted L-shaped gauges and an electronic speedometer, tach, and boost gauge. The only trouble here was that the tach often lagged real engine RPM, a problem when shifting to the numbers. The standard mechanical gauge package will probably suit enthusiasts better. Luggage capacity is also somewhat deceiving. Despite a large hatch and split rear seats, our 4 bags fit only with difficulty. But there's no deception under the hood. The superb 2.6-liter silent shaft power plant is mated to throttle body fuel injection and a tiny but well-suited Mitsubishi-made turbocharger. Although boost is limited to 7.5 pounds per square inch, this effective combination delivers 145 horsepower and 185 pounds of torque. And just when you thought this space program was probably impractical, the EPA rates the Turbo Starion at 22 city and 32 highway. Our actual mileage was a quite reasonable 27. In addition, this 2,960-pound Samurai Warrior is something of a bargain. Base price is $12,080, and our top-of-the-line luxury sport model is $13,900. Easily more car for the yen than its costlier rivals, the Datsun 280ZX Turbo or Toyota Celica Supra. But then the Starion isn't quite as refined as those rivals either. At first launch, we found rough spots that ranged from styling to gauges to usable space. But clearly, it's an interesting car that will be easily smoothed with experience. And no doubt we'll soon see Starions in the eyes of thousands.
It's the second time around for this downsized off-roader. And for this Oriental sports coupe, now sporting a different name. Both are off and running next on Motor Week.
Motor Week, television's automotive magazine. Brought to you by a general support grant from the Prestone division of the Union Carbide Corporation. America goes with Prestone. Your host for Motor Week, John Davis.
Hello and welcome again to Motor Week. Ford's country cousin, the Bronco 2, is under harness first this week for some muddy off-road testing. It's back on the blacktop for our second road test of the Dodge Plymouth Conquest. Back in the maintenance garage, Pat Goss will show you how to bleed your car's brakes. And Joyce Braga will be breaking the latest news on more new models from General Motors. So let's start things off with our 4x4 friend here. And let's see if we can jog your memory. Maybe you remember about a year ago we first saw a car called the Starion. It's sold by Mitsubishi. Well, sales of the Starion Sports Coupe have been strong enough that Chrysler, Mitsubishi's American connection, wanted its own version to further beef up its performance image. The result was our next subject, the $12,187 Dodge Plymouth Conquest. Maybe you also remember that we found the original Starion was very fast but had a few rough edges. So has a name change and some tutoring from the Highland Park Finishing School really made a difference? Well, there's only one way to find out.
If there's one thing that drew boos on the original Mitsubishi Starion, it was the overzealous Oriental styling. But the first thing we found was that the Dodge Plymouth Conquest clone is devoid of that triple set of hood scoops and air vents that cluttered up the rather striking overall shape. Also gone is the molded bumper license plate holder and the cowcatcher look. A less radical chin spoiler eliminates that. The revised Conquest skin looks so much better that they're giving Starions the same alterations. The next point of contention was the interior. Overall, it seemed busy and cluttered, while the dash itself was stark and functional. So Chrysler put in more demure colors and fabrics, providing a clean, purposeful feeling to match the seat's firm, supportive padding. Instrumentation remains the same, with our car having the preferred standard gauge package. Dials are big, clear, and well positioned. You can get this electronic cluster as an option, but we found its tack badly lagged actual engine RPM. One feature left unaltered from the Starion is the indoor seat belt. It ends, once and for all, having to crawl over or under tangled belts when trying to reach the rear seats. Power is Mitsubishi's now venerable 2.6-liter silent shaft four-cylinder with an easy-to-service top-mounted turbocharger. Power ratings are 145 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, but with the maximum of 185 pounds of torque coming in very early at only 2,500 RPM. That makes straight-line acceleration in the Conquest close to exhilarating. 0 to 60 times are a fine 10.1 seconds. Over the standing quarter mile, with modest wheel spin in the first two of its 5 gears, our typical test time of 16.9 seconds resulted in an 80-mile-per-hour terminal speed. That makes the 2,930-pound Conquest faster than Chrysler's own homemade Daytona Laser sports coupes. Okay, so we already knew speed was easy for the Conquest, but then we found that Starion handling is also Conquest handling. It's not bad, mind you, just confusing. With four-wheel independent suspension, gas-filled struts, and thick stabilizer bars, you expect flat, fast cornering. But while the ball-type steering is quick, it communicates the car's intentions poorly. That makes it all too easy to exceed the system's power boost. When pushed hard, the Conquest goes from slight plowing understeer as you enter a turn to tail-hanging oversteer a second later. Fortunately, the coupe's more than ample power allows you to regain control easily. The four-wheel disc brakes on our Conquest did not have Mitsubishi's rear-wheel anti-lock system, but they worked well anyway, with mostly straight stops of only 121 feet on average from 55 miles per hour. Pedal pressure is good, although one of our car's front pads did lock up before the other on occasion. Conquest fuel economy is rated by the government at 21 city and 31 highway. Our test sample did no better than 20 on our Motor Week Suburban mileage loop. We have to add that a similarly equipped Starion we tested earlier did deliver a consistent 27. So has the Conquest, nay Starion, really changed? Well, like a chameleon, just enough to fit in. Its looks, inside and out, are now more refined. Its power is formidable, even if the handling quirks are still with us. And you might end up saying that a Starion by any other name makes a most able Conquest.
Next time is the Chevy Celebrity Eurosport and the Honda CRX. We'll see you next week. On this week's Motor Week, a performance special. From some sporty Detroit iron to a couple of sporty Europeans, and it's all coming your way next.
Television's Automotive Magazine is brought to you by the Robert Bosch Corporation, makers of Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug for American and imported cars, and by STP, makers of STP oil treatment and STP gas treatment. Your host for Motor Week, John Davis.
Well, hello and welcome again to Motor Week. Since everybody's talking performance these days, we've corralled 5 cars that speak that language in one way or another. The Ford Escort EXP, the Dodge Daytona CS, Maserati Spider, Mustang GT convertible, and the new Saab 900 convertible. And if that weren't enough, we'll be visiting Summit Point Raceway for a high-speed comparison between 4 serious-minded sports cars. Now, the Daytona CS and Escort EXP may flirt with the sporting life, but they're not on that growing list of uncompromising, pure sports cars. We road tested the Porsche 944 Turbo not too long ago, and if any model is king of that hill, it's that one. Of course, it has one major drawback. It goes for at least $30,000. So naturally, other car makers, all of them Japanese, are doing their best to prove that you can have much of the 944 Turbo's performance, but for a lot less yen, like about a third less. Now, there's a challenge that looks like just too much fun to be ignored.
The Field of Honor, the Point, otherwise known as Summit Point Raceway near Charlestown, West Virginia. We found it's 2 miles of fast straightaways and turns perfect for past comparisons. And this time, West meets East, with the Porsche 944 Turbo the one to beat. The land of the rising sun is fielding 3 honorable turbocharged challengers, the Nissan 300ZX Turbo, the just-arrived Mazda RX-7 Turbo, and the Mitsubishi Starion ESI-R. A lot has been written about the Porsche 944 Turbo with its $29,800 base price. We think it's the best all-round sports car on the road today. Power comes from an intercooled 2.5-liter 4, developing a very strong 217 horsepower and 243 pound-feet of torque. The sleeper in our group might be the least known, this Mitsubishi Starion ESI-R. At $17,479, it's also the cheapest. Power is from an intercooled 4-cylinder. From 2.6 liters, it churns out 178 horsepower and 223 pound-feet of torque. Next in this group of bulging fenders is the newest entrant, the $20,195 Mazda RX-7 Turbo. Here the intercooler and turbo come attached to a quick-revving rotary engine for a healthy 182 horsepower and 183 pound-feet of torque. With 2 more cylinders is the pride of Nissan, the $20,999 300ZX Turbo. It's more of a touring car than the others, but with a 3-liter turbocharged V6, it's also one of the most powerful of its type. Output is 200 horsepower and 227 pound-feet of torque. So on to our first matchup, straight line acceleration. A quick pace is set right off, as the 944 Turbo comes in with a 0 to 60 time of 6.3 seconds and a quarter-mile run of 14.6 seconds at 95. The lightest car came in next, as the RX-7 times out at 7.2 seconds, 0 to 60, and 15.3 at 91 for the quarter mile. Following is the torquey Starion ESI-R, 0 to 60 in 8.1, quarter mile 16.5 at 83. Thanks to 150 more pounds, the 300ZX is slower than the Starion with 8.9 seconds 0 to 60. With the second most powerful engine, though, it does beat the ESI-R over the quarter mile, 16.2 seconds and 86 miles per hour through the traps. But we also want to test here for agility and maneuverability in traffic, and a tightly spaced slalom seems the right course. Since it's slightly lighter and has faster power rack and pinion steering, the RX-7 shows the way with an average speed of 43.6. Right behind, even with its out-of-favor recirculating ball-type steering gear, is the charging Starion ESI-R at 43.25. The 944 only comes in third here at 43.14. And finally, a softer suspension keeps the 300ZX well off the pace at 42.49 miles per hour. But we're talking high performance here, and we want to know a car's maximum cornering ability. So let's move over to Summit Point's new skid pad. You can measure pure cornering power by taking a car around a skid pad as fast as possible until it loses traction. So that's just what we're going to do. As you might expect, tires are a big factor here. The 944 comes shod with Pirelli P7s, 55 series on the front, 50 series at the rear. On the Starion, Yokohama 55 aspect ratio tires front, wider 50s in the back. On the RX-7, Goodyear Gatorbacks, 55 series all round. And on the 300ZX, 50 series Bridgestone Potenza RE91s. With speeds calculated from times for a 200-foot diameter skid pad, the P7s prove their stickiness and suitability to the Porsche's sophisticated suspension. But hold on, the upstart Starion did just as well. Only a bit behind came the RX-7 Turbo, suffering most from skinnier rear tires, and pulling up the rear, but still with a good showing, the 300ZX Turbo. But let's face it, we really want to use the whole track, so all that speed, adhesion, along with braking can really come together. First, the Porsche, and as a Porsche, it begs to be driven at its edge. The car is more forgiving than other Porsches. It warns you at its peak by feeling heavy, slower to respond. Power comes on in a rush, and that can be alarming in a turn, but braking is flawless with no fade. You can go deeper into a curve, brake hard, and still make a smooth transition. Overall, the 944 Turbo has to be driven a good deal before you feel fully comfortable. Next, the Starion ESI-R, our favorite for pure toss-around fun. It has an amazing ability to recover from most driver mistakes with a simple push of the throttle. The rear-only anti-lock brakes do take some getting used to, though. Coming into a corner, the car feels reluctant to slow. But power comes on smooth with no surge. The Starion ESI-R is very forgiving and clearly shows an intense development effort to make this a quick responding road car. The Mazda RX-7 Turbo shows many of the same characteristics of the Starion, but with much more finesse. There's a quicker reservoir of power with the turbo rotary. It's nimble all right, but the car does seem a little too light at speed, but brakes are very good. You might think the Nissan 300ZX Turbo wouldn't fare as well as the others here, and that's true enough, but it didn't embarrass itself. Its adjustable suspension makes the car feel stiffer than it is, and you can overdrive it easily. Get that quirk under your belt, and the faster steering and ample power take over. But ZX brakes also faded the most. So which one is the fastest at the point? Well, yes, it is the Porsche. But its 2-second advantage over the runner-up RX-7 surprised even us. The RX-7 did well enough, though, as did the Starion. And another surprise, the Nissan was less than 0.7 of a second slower per lap than the RX-7. All lap times were slower than expected, thanks to cool weather and high winds. But can you come close to the Porsche 944 Turbo for around $20,000? For everyday driving, yes, reasonably close. None of the Japanese coupes are as fast in a straight line, though the RX-7 made a valiant effort. Both the RX-7 and the Starion are more agile in the kind of driving that most Americans do daily. And for pure driving comfort, the 300ZX Turbo beats the 944 hands down. Overall, for our money, the Mazda RX-7 Turbo is the most desirable of the Eastern group. It's closest in ability to the Porsche 944 Turbo. But when it comes to full tilt performance, 30 Gs isn't that far out of step for a terrific sports car like the 944 Turbo. And remember, Buck Watchers, there's always next year.
I tell you, no matter how often I fly, I still think nothing comes close to it. It's fast, it's exciting.
It's a job. Prepare to lower landing gear.
You know, all work and no play makes
My
all
definition of play is a bit different than yours. Sleek, aerodynamic lines, power beyond belief, and a cockpit that fits like a glove.
Sounds like that Beechcraft you've been drooling over. Wait a minute, did you buy that?
Flaps 10 degrees, fuel pump on, And gear down.
I knew it. I just knew it. You bought the Beechcraft.
Michelle, my 1987 Mitsubishi Starion ESI-R.
But, Paul,
Isn't it totally beautiful? Those lines, the performance. Under the hood, there's a 2.6-liter four-cylinder engine that's not just turbocharged and fuel-injected. It's also intercooled. And it's the intercooler that helps this engine crank out 176 horsepower, 223 foot-pounds of torque. The intercooler is just like a radiator, but instead of cooling fluid, it cools the hot intake air after it comes from the turbocharger. And when air temperature is reduced, the density is increased, and a more concentrated air-fuel mixture delivers a more powerful combustion explosion.
Stop 1 second. You mean this is your exciting new secret?
Of course. Why?
Paul, my new 87 Starion LE. I picked it up last night. I looked at the ESI-R, but this LE is more my style. It's fine, it's powerful, it's packed with luxury features, all in one. And even without the intercooler, my engine delivers a very strong 145 horsepower and 185 foot-pounds of torque. Plus, it's smooth power, thanks to Mitsubishi Motors' dual-engine stabilizers.
Yes, you see there are actually two weighted shafts in the engine that rotate in the opposite direction of the crankshaft, and it's this counter-rotation that cancels out the natural vibrations of the engine.
Yes, but did you know that Porsche uses the same system in their 944? Mitsubishi licensed the technology to Porsche.
Oh, I knew that, sure. But I really like the way my Starion ESI-R handles.
Oh, that's because of the revised suspension geometry in your ESI-R.
The brochure said that both Starion models come with four-wheel independent suspension, featuring gas-filled shock absorbers, but the spring rates and shock absorber valving has been specially tuned on your ESI-R to maximize the traction potential of the low-profile tires. And while my Starion LE has stabilizer bars front and rear, your ESI-R has a larger rear stabilizer bar. And your suspension geometry has been changed to reduce nosedive during deceleration by 15%.
Sounds like you know more about my car than I do.
Put it this way, I know there's a whole lot more to Starion ESI-R than just sexy fender flares.
You do your homework.
Right. And did you know the Starion comes with responsive, power-assisted recirculating ball steering?
I knew that. I knew that.
It gives me the road feel I want, without having to work up a sweat when parking. And then there's Starion's power-assisted four-wheel ventilated disc brakes. You know, they're ventilated to help the air pass through the discs themselves to prevent the chance of brake fade.
My ESI-R has larger diameter brakes.
I knew that.
And the ESI-R also features a special rear brake lockup control system to help minimize the chance of rear brake lockup during hard stops. In fact, this unit actually modulates the brake line pressure when it senses that lockup is imminent. And the ESI-R also comes with a limited slip rear differential for improved traction.
What transmission did you get on your LE? The smooth shifting 5-speed manual overdrive like my ESI-R?
No, actually, I prefer an automatic, especially when it's a smart one, like the one in my LE. This 4-speed overdrive automatic comes with a lock-up torque converter to physically lock the connection between the engine and transmission for added efficiency. Then there's an overdrive lockout control that prevents the transmission from shifting up into overdrive. It comes in real handy in stop-and-go traffic.
You know what I like most about my new ESI-R? This cockpit. The instruments and gauges keep me fully informed, and they're intelligently laid out, so they're easy to read, just like the ship we fly. And the key controls fall readily at hand, so they're easy to use. And I really like this new passive restraint shoulder belt. It's convenient, always reminds me to buckle up. When I'm behind the wheel of my Starion ESI-R, I feel like I'm in complete control.
You know, that's exactly the way I feel when I'm behind the wheel of my Starion LE. In control in a most comfortable way.
Oh, I almost forgot. There's a new theft deterrent system. Makes me feel secure just knowing it's monitoring the hood, hatch, and the doors at all times. When it goes off, it makes so much noise everyone knows about it.
Paul, I had you all wrong. I thought you were all work and no play.
Hey, with Starion, it doesn't have to be that way.
In the world of sports cars, Starion stands alone. It delivers a unique blend of ultra-high performance, superior interior ergonomics, and the latest in technological advancements. A rare mix of sport and sophistication. The 1987 Starion continues to be one of today's premier driver's cars. Starion has always been known for its bold styling. The sleek hatchback body was perfected in the wind tunnel at Mitsubishi Motors Engineering and Test Center at Okazaki, Japan. Countless hours were spent refining and perfecting the shape of Starion. The net result is an impressively low 0.35 drag coefficient for both Starion LE and Starion ESI-R. Starion's shape is accented by flush-fitting aircraft-style doors, fully retractable halogen headlamps, integrated fog lights, a deeply sloped windshield, a front air dam, and a 3-piece rear spoiler. Then on Starion ESI-R, for a more aggressive aero look, there are large integrated fender flares, integral side sill extensions, a special front air dam, and color-keyed door mirrors for a totally integrated look. Starion LE comes standard with 215/60 HR14 steel-belted radial tires that are designed for high performance and smooth ride characteristics. They come mounted on distinctive machined surface alloy wheels. On Starion ESI-R, good looks and good traction go hand in hand with 5-spoke, 5-lug wheels and extra low-profile tires. Up front, the 7-inch wheels come with 205/55 VR16 tires. Then at the rear, the 8-inch wheels come with 225/50 VR16 tires. And for superior rear and side vision, both models come with power remote control mirrors. The passenger side mirror features a convex lens for a wide-angle view of traffic. And for $1987, these mirrors have electric defogging to help clear the mirror surface to ensure good rear vision. And for those who prefer, a tilt-up lift-off sunroof is optional on both Starion models. Starion's cockpit puts the driver in complete control. The bucket seats provide excellent lateral support to help hold you in on tight corners. And they're 6-way adjustable. Rich velour fabric comes standard, and leather upholstery is optional. Starion comes with split rear seat backs. That means one side can be left up for a passenger while the other is easily folded for cargo. The high-performance Starion keeps the driver highly informed with a tachometer, turbo boost gauge, oil pressure gauge, voltmeter, coolant temperature gauge, and a trip meter. Both Starion models come with fully automatic temperature controls. With this system, the heater and air conditioner work in harmony to maintain the interior at a preset temperature. For $1987, Starion comes with a new radio for your audio enjoyment. It's electronically tuned and features AM stereo, FM stereo, a cassette player, 9-band graphic equalizer, high-powered amplifier, and 6 speakers. Then for unsurpassed convenience, this radio comes with an electronic touch-tune steering wheel. Key radio controls are located right on the steering wheel, so the driver can change a station or the volume without taking their eyes off traffic. Starion also comes standard with power windows, power remote control mirrors, power door locks, and a power antenna. Then there's eTax 4, which features speed-sensitive variable intermittent wipers, a rear window defogger timer, And if the key is still in the ignition in the off position, it won't let the power door locks lock the doors. Plus, the power windows will continue to operate for 30 seconds after the ignition has been switched off, but before a door is opened. Starion also comes standard with a full-feature cruise control, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, plush cut-pile carpeting, and much more. Starion for $1987. All totaled, this is a true performance car, one that few others can match with its unique blend of technology and luxury. Mitsubishi, perfecting the experience.
The 1987 Starion LE and Starion ESI-R. These two cars are packed with features to enhance your driving experience. Mechanically, both come with a 2.6-liter turbocharged engine that also features electronic fuel injection, dual engine stabilizers, and automatic valve adjusters. Starion ESI-R also includes the extra performance advantage of an intercooler. A 5-speed manual overdrive transmission comes standard. And a 4-speed automatic overdrive transmission is optional on Starion LE. Both models feature power-assisted 4-wheel vented disc brakes, power-assisted recirculating ball steering, 4-wheel independent suspension, and a built-in theft deterrent system. Starion ESI-R also includes a limited slip rear differential, larger disc brakes, and a rear brake lock-up control system. The sleek Starion body is accented with retractable halogen headlamps, integrated fog lights, a front air dam, a 3-piece rear spoiler, and on the LE, 15-inch alloy wheels with 215/60 HR15 steel-belted radials. For added appeal, Starion ESI-R also includes an extended front air dam, large integrated fender flares, integral side sill extensions, 205/55 VR16 high-performance steel-belted radial tires on 7-inch wide alloy wheels up front, and 225/50 VR16 high-performance steel-belted radial tires on 8-inch rear wheels. Interior comfort is enhanced by 6-way adjustable bucket seats, rich velour upholstery, split fold-down rear seats, cut pile carpeting, an automatic temperature control system, power windows, mirrors, door locks, and antenna, tilt steering column, passive restraint shoulder belt system, E-TAX 4 controls, an electronically tuned AM stereo, FM stereo radio, complete with cassette player, 9-band graphic equalizer, high-power amplifier, 6 speakers, and steering wheel-mounted audio controls. And full instrumentation with a tachometer, turbo boost gauge, and much more. But all features aside, the true attraction of Starion is the fun you can have when you're behind the wheel. Because the 1987 Starion was designed and packed with the features a true sports car driver appreciates. Mitsubishi, perfecting the experience.
First place, Sears Point 6-hour endurance race. First place, Portland 4-hour enduro. First place, Nelson Ledge's longest day 24-hour endurance race. First place, Mosport 24-hour enduro. 1983, first place, Baja 1000. 1983, first place, California 400. First place, marathon class, Paris to Dakar Rally, 5 years in a row. From coast to coast, continent to continent, Mitsubishi is dominating some of the most demanding races in the world. Over 107 victories last year alone at Brands Hatch, Macau, the Nürburgring, and here in America. And this year, Mitsubishi continues to steamroll over the competition whenever and wherever the green flag drops. Races are won, lap records set, and the competition is sent home to lick their wounds until the next race. In 1984, Mitsubishi's first year of racing in the U.S., turbocharged Starion won every race entered to capture the U.S. Endurance Championship. And year after year, victory after victory, Mitsubishi continues to be the car to beat. SCCA Manufacturer's Challenge winner in 1984 and 1987. Three-time class winner at the 24 Hours of Nelson Ledges. 1986 European Group A Series champion. Most amazing of all are the cars themselves. Not specially built and pampered purebred race cars, but production models, similar to the ones you can drive off the showroom floor. The only modifications, safety equipment and a small amount of engine and suspension tuning. What does it take to dominate showroom stock endurance racing against the best that Audi, Saab, Mazda, Nissan, and Toyota can throw at you? Speed and endurance. From sunrise to sunset and all through the night, under a blistering sun and through pouring rain, cars are tortured and abused for hours on end. In the course of a 24-hour race, transmissions are shifted thousands of times. Engines race to their red line, lap after lap. Brakes punished again and again to slow the cars from speeds in excess of 120 miles an hour. Engineers calculate that one 24-hour endurance race is the equivalent of 100,000 miles of street driving. Showroom stock endurance racing, more than any other type of event, is the truest test of a car's performance and reliability. For these are virtually the same cars you drive on the street. No hand-built prototypes, no one-off designs, just the same cars you can drive day in and day out. Put them on the track, and it's easy to see who builds the best cars, and who doesn't. Year after year, race after race, Mitsubishi's Dave Wolin and his crew leave no doubt who the leader in turbo technology really is. Complementing Team Mitsubishi's racing cars are a thoroughly professional team of drivers. Ray Kong, John Norris, Bob Sweet, Mike Rutherford, Charlie Downs, and the incredible Charlie Hexam. Charlie is a former SCCA champion and the only SCCA licensed race car driver who is paraplegic.
When you see the number 86 Mitsubishi Starion bombing down the racetrack driven by Charlie Hexam, understand that inside the car, Charlie does things a bit differently because he's forced to use hand controls. It's a really neat operation. Let me show you. Fire it up here. Okay? Now the throttle is like a motorcycle. Just a twist grip, huh? Now you want brakes? No problem. Push forward. You got brakes. Now the clutch, that's that little button right there, switch. It's a vacuum-operated clutch. Pretty neat stuff. Now Charlie says he's at absolutely no disadvantage on a great big racetrack like this. The tighter the track, well, he might be a tick off the other guys, but he's going to fix that, okay? He's going to put all of the controls right here on the shift lever. Oh, one more thing. Charlie's got cruise control. All he's got to do is twist this all the way over, it locks, and he can rest that left arm down the front straightaway.
But road racing isn't the only showcase for Mitsubishi's superior performance and technology. In the past, race-modified Mitsubishi trucks have captured the punishing Baja 1000, the California 400, and the San Felipe 300. And they've beaten trucks from every major manufacturer in the world. Off-road racing is a brutal test of strength and durability. Weaknesses are found all too quickly. Poor designs never make it to the finish line. And now, Mitsubishi trucks have accepted yet another challenge. The Coors Race Truck Challenge Series. A road race series for trucks. Tests of speed, agility, and reliability. Head-to-head competition against the best the other manufacturers can throw at us. And again, these are virtually stock trucks, just like the ones you can buy from your local Mitsubishi dealer.
The machines in the Coors Race Truck Challenge Series are governed by a set of rules very similar to showroom stock automobiles. This is the Mitsubishi Mighty Max truck driven by Ray Kahn. The first thing you'll notice, they select a model without air conditioning to rob power. Also, the engine is completely disassembled, not for modification purposes, but to just check for any flaws in assembly. Now, modifications are allowed in suspension. Here you can see the bushings have been changed. And also, you'll note, in the front, special racing shock absorbers here, and also inside this caliper are pads of a material you'd find at the Indianapolis 500. Now, they can be no lower than 8 inches off the ground, measured from right here. Inside, you will find some modifications, primarily for safety. You can see Ray has a very comfortable racing-style seat. Also, there's a very sturdy full roll cage, an onboard fire extinguisher system, and Ray has also installed a special racing steering wheel, which required the horn to be relocated down here. Very handy in the turns when you got somebody slowing you down. Now at the rear, also the shocks have been changed, and also the drum brake shoes have been changed to a different material. The roll cage extends clear to the back of the bed, but something you won't find in your truck's bed is 198 pounds of lead. That's because the Mighty Max comes with an advertised horsepower of 109, and that's more than some of the competitors. So, SCCA requires that they carry that handicap.
Joe Ruse of Road and Track magazine wrote that in the 60s, we had sports cars that handled like trucks. Here in the 80s, we have trucks that handle like sports cars. One look at Mighty Max storming past the competition at Brainerd International Raceway, and you'll realize just how right Joe is. Meanwhile, halfway around the world, Mitsubishi has been dominating the competition in a far different kind of event. Considered by many to be the single most difficult race in the world, the Paris to Dakar Rally covers over 8,500 miles of the toughest, most unforgiving real estate in the world. Racers have to deal with weeks of scorching desert sands, swollen rivers, and roads knee-deep in mud. Of the 403 cars and trucks that started the 1987 event, only 87 finished. Yet for the past 5 years in a row, the Mitsubishi Montero has won the marathon class, as well as overall honors and team competition. From Road Atlanta to Algiers, Baja, Mexico to Brainerd, Minnesota, Mitsubishi cars and trucks show the competition the fast way home. Racing is a bold display of confidence in the Mitsubishi cars and trucks we build. It's a test bed for new Mitsubishi technologies, a public demonstration of our outstanding strength and reliability. It's a no-excuse contest to show who really does make the best high-performance products. But after every race, the real winner is you, because you can buy this proven technology from your local Mitsubishi dealer. You'll enjoy the same high level of performance, the same outstanding reliability, the same edge over the competition. Mitsubishi. We chase the checkered flag. The competition chases us. One look, and there's no mistaking the intent of the 1988 Mitsubishi Starion. This is a driver's car, pure and simple. Engineered for crisp response, remarkable agility, and uncompromising performance. Aggressive look is the first and most obvious indication that this is no ordinary automobile. Bold, sleek, aggressive. The crisp lines and carefully shaped body panels reduce aerodynamic drag and manage airflow for improved performance and optimum high-speed stability. Beneath the eye-catching bodywork, you'll find a highly sophisticated independent suspension based on race car technology for precise handling and immediate response. New for 1988 is a sports handling package highlighted by 8-way manually adjustable shock absorbers, aero wheel covers, and wider, lower profile tires. Starion is powered by an intercooled turbocharged 2.6-liter engine that now produces more horsepower, 188, and propels the car from 0 to 50 in under 6 seconds. For many people, all this would be enough. But to Mitsubishi, performance is only one half of the sports car equation. That's why you'll find that the Starion is as comfortable and luxurious as it is fast. The cockpit seems to wrap around you in a most reassuring fashion, and all controls are logically placed and close at hand. The Starion ESI-R comes standard with virtually every comfort, convenience, and power feature you can imagine. And the ESI, while even more affordable, is highlighted by almost as impressive a list of standard features. The 1988 Starion. The ultimate balance of performance and luxury in a world-class touring automobile.
To some, performance is measured with a stopwatch, because cold, hard facts like quarter-mile speeds and 0 to 60 times don't lie.
But in fact, performance is a broader term, one that also encompasses the appearance and comfort of a vehicle.
For 1988, Mitsubishi solves both sides of the performance equation with Starion ESI and Starion ESI-R. Both models come with a turbocharged, intercooled 2.6-liter 4-cylinder engine that cranks out 188 horsepower. That's 7% more than last year. And the 1988 Starions have a durable stainless steel exhaust system for a long service life. A 5-speed manual overdrive transmission is standard on both models, and a 4-speed automatic overdrive transmission is now available on the ESI-R model.
To get the most out of this potent power plant, both Starion models come with 4-wheel independent suspension, power-assisted 4-wheel vented disc brakes, and power-assisted recirculating ball steering. For traction equal to its performance, Starion ESI-R comes with a limited slip differential and a rear brake lockup control system. It's designed to help reduce the chance of rear brake lockup and increase control under severe braking conditions. The 1988 Starions, performance pure and simple.
Starion's shape plays an integral role in its performance too. The lines are totally functional, providing precise air management. Steel blister fender flares cover the huge 205/55 VR16 tires up front and 225/50 VR16 tires at the rear. They come on 7- and 8-inch wide wheels respectively. And to improve aerodynamics for 88, Both Starions come with a new front air dam extension and a new underbody pan that helps smooth the airflow under the vehicle. You can order Starion ESI-R with an optional sports handling package. It includes manually adjustable shock absorbers with 8 different settings, plus lower and wider wheels and tires, complete with aero-styled wheel inserts.
Starion also delivers the kind of performance measured by the level of features that make it a personal sports car. Features like power remote control dual mirrors. The passenger side mirror is convex for a wide-angle view of traffic. And both mirrors on Starion ESI-R are equipped with an electric defogger. Starion also features a theft deterrent system that monitors the hood, hatch, and doors. It arms automatically every time you lock the car. And Starion ESI-R is even available with an optional tilt-up, lift-off sunroof. Like we said, these Starions deliver personal performance. But nowhere is that more evident than from this position. This interior was designed for maximum comfort, convenience, and performance. The multi-adjustable bucket seats are a racy new design. Luxurious leather is optional on Starion ESI-R. Both cars feature passive restraint front shoulder belts that automatically fasten every time you close the door. But remember, the lap belt must still be fastened manually. The rear seat's versatile too. It's a split fold-down design. Instrumentation includes a tachometer, turbo boost gauge, coolant temperature gauge, voltmeter, oil pressure gauge, and a trip meter. Both models also feature power windows, and Starion ESI-R comes with power door locks and a power antenna. And both Starion come standard with advanced eTax4 controls, full-feature cruise control, a tilt steering column, plush cut pile carpeting, remote hood, hatch, and fuel filler door openers, an electronically tuned AM/FM stereo radio, complete with cassette, and a whole lot more. In addition, Starion ESI-R comes with a 9-band graphic equalizer and 6 speakers, with key audio controls located on the steering wheel. Starion ESI-R also has a fully automatic climate control air conditioning system. Both of these features are optional on Starion ESI.
This is performance, as defined by Mitsubishi.
Starion ESI and Starion ESI-R, a thoughtful study in what a sports car can be.
To achieve Starion's level of performance requires the most advanced technology. That technology is reflected in Starion's power-packed 2.6-liter engine. The TC05 turbocharger is specially matched to the engine. Its low-mass, lightweight design virtually eliminates turbo lag. And for added durability, the turbocharger bearing housing is water-cooled. One byproduct of a turbocharged engine is heat. A hot air-fuel mixture does not burn as efficiently as a cool air-fuel mixture. For that reason, both Starion models come with an intercooler. It functions much like a radiator, but instead of cooling fluid, it cools the compressed intake air mixture. And when air temperature is reduced, air density is increased. The result is a more powerful air-fuel mixture, a more powerful combustion chamber explosion, and that results in more horsepower. In fact, horsepower output is up 7% for 1988, giving Starion even stronger performance. One problem that's common with large displacement 4-cylinder engines is vibration. For that reason, this engine also features Mitsubishi's patented dual-engine stabilizers. Mitsubishi ingeniously conquered this problem by utilizing a pair of counterweighted shafts that rotate in the opposite direction of the crankshaft. These counter-rotating shafts literally cancel out the natural engine vibrations. This system is so unique and effective that under license from Mitsubishi Motors, Porsche uses this same system on their 944 sports car. Starion's engine also features automatic valve lash adjusters, which eliminate the need to adjust the intake and exhaust valves. And because they adjust automatically while you drive, they minimize valve train noise too. Starion for 1988, using modern technology to deliver maximum performance.
(1986) Mitsubishi Starion LE, or otherwise known as 1986 Dodge Conquest, without intercooler. Today's date, December 11th, 1988. Mileage on it is 39,614. I'll be returning the car to Wild Bill's Chrysler Plymouth in Hackensack on Route 4 West. Some of the options that I've installed on the car are the bra, the front mask, the license plate rims that go around the license plate. I've added the optional mud guards on the front and the back. The wing, the Supra wing that you see on the back of the car. Tinted glass. Double windshield wipers on both arms. then over here is my air filter, air cleaner. I've added from K&N Industries out in California. This is a special air cleaner that adds 10 on this particular car. Every car is different, but it adds 10 more horsepower to this car on all Starions of this kind. And the rims are 9 inches versus the standard Starion or Conquest, which is 8 inches in the rear. In the front, those are 8 inches in the front, where the normal one would have 7 inches. And it is black on black. That's Selbia black. I have the wing from the old car, which I will put on the new one. The 1986 Starion still looks intact. There's no price on the window or anything yet saying it's sold or whatever. And it's down. That's right, that's what I'm saying. His wife is about 3. Like. Oh yeah. Is that going to be extra hard or anything, or? Yeah. Oh, good. These 2 layers? 2 layers. Oh, really? Oh, okay, yeah. Reason why I buffed it where these towels are. Oh. So you have paint under there that was never washed or nothing. Oh. So you see where the lettering. On the inside, 3 coats of paint. All hubcaps have 4 coats of clear, not gloss, just clear.
Okay, I have here an 88 Starion. It's equipped with EVC. Also has a bypass control valve hooked up to it. I have an HKS turbo gauge. It also has a free flow exhaust system. As far as security, I have a vocal alarm system with an Invisibeam hooked up to it. I have window sensors. I have a remote starter. Police scanner. NEC 4600 cellular mobile phone with vocal link. I have a Bell radar detector. And that about does it for all the electronic equipment that I have in the car. Okay, want to cut it there? Around the car, once the alarm is armed, the perimeter about 5 inches around the whole entire car. Come near it, it'll tell you to back away from it.
Warning, you are too close to the vehicle.
Okay.
Step back.
If you step back away from it, it'll say thank you to you.
Thank you.
If you go back and approach it again and stay within the perimeter, it'll give you 5 seconds to leave the area.
Step back or the alarm will sound. Perimeter violation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you back off,
Thank you.
it'll disengage. If you stay there, the alarm will go off. It will engage.
Okay, Mike, could you please show us some of your interior features, the telephone and such, scanners?
Okay. Okay, on the bottom of the car here, I have the EVC, electronic valve control. That's also hooked up with the bypass control valve. On top, I have the turbo gauge meter to give me the accurate reading of my turbo. Then next to that, I have an NEC 4600 phone.
Mike, could you please explain that to us? Can you show us how you dictated what to do, like a phone number? Is that possible?
Yeah, the NEC 4600, I have it hooked up with a vocal link, which takes vocal commands from my voice. I have to program it with my voice. And it'll only take commands from my voice. I have it all pre-programmed for different numbers that I frequent. So if I tell it to call my job, I just have to say job. I'll say job. Clear. Home. So by just telling it what place I want it to call and just telling it to dial, it'll dial out that number. Okay, then on the far right I have a Bearcat police scanner. And then on top I have a Supreme, a Bell Micro Y Supreme radar detector. Okay, want to get it through?
Sit in the back.
Open up the... Should take this, probably the spike thing off, right? Take it.
Whatever's easier for you. Oh, yeah, great. Excellent.
Okay, you got it? Okay, over here, we have the bypass control valve that we have hooked here to the turbo unit. Over here, we have part of the EVC, that's the valve going into the engine. Then over here, we have the remote starter hooked up to the engine. Okay, and these are the wires that I have now are 8mm high-performance wires. In the front, I have the two air horns that are hooked up to my regular horn and the alarm system. Then I have the one siren and the other one that gives all the vocal messages. And that's it. Yeah, those are the 8mm wires that I just put out the
ballast. We have two 15 inches, two 12, and 6 meters. Push 350 and 100 amp. Sounds pretty neat and loud. Like that.
This is a 1987 Mitsubishi Starion, one owner, 5-speed stick, full leather interior. This is a 1986 Dodge Conquest TSI with approximately 86,000 miles on it. Running good. We're at Giant Stadium at the Meadowlands for the 1990 Grand Prix. Jerry, can you please explain to us what you got in the car?
Okay.
And your car is an automatic, right?
This is an automatic. Okay. This is an Alpine 3554. Puts out 75 times 4 in 2-ohm mode.
Okay.
There's a one. By the way, put the tweeter, see? Up on top. One here. That's an idea.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Okay, and Jerry, can you please explain to us what you did in back?
You sound like,
I know.
Oh, he's like, are you in 60 minutes?
Mr. Media Man. Can you explain everything?
May I suggest, why don't you wait until I'm able to open this up? It's more for electronic crossovers. This is just 75.
Mileage on my car is 23,607. We are in Union City, New Jersey, at Mike Pena's house.
Howard.
Dreispan. The shop. Yeah.
So what I need is pliers. What I know. Okay, this amp is 75 watts times 2. This controls the audio control epicenter. Basically, its concept is to take bass and turn it into deep bass. Now, strictly talking about what's back here, it's a Pioneer electronic crossover at 120 hertz down at set 4. Goes from the stock unit to a power pad converter to make it from speaker level to line level inputs. Power pad to epicenter. Epicenter to electronic crossover. Crossover to amp.
Okay.
Kind of shoehorns in there.
You made it fit great.
And then to conceal it, the carpet from up here. It's used to go stealth. And you wouldn't think there's even anything behind there. And bass box.
Now let's hear that.
Shoehorns in. And just uses connectors on the end.
Shakes the car, man. You don't have to suck the engine in.
I'm thinking about it. I don't know.
There's a lot of room.
Jerry?
Pardon me?
Okay.
Okay, these are Spectra fittings with just a slip-on covering to protect from abrasion. We'll go to a full stainless steel. Right now, I just got the heavy-duty connectors on the end. All of these are coverings, stainless steel covering for a fuel line, fabric for vacuum lines, another fuel line. Hood lock and siren wiring. There's a little electronic timer for this siren duration.
That's where?
I got this
This is over here, the little tiny timer. Microwave wrap, works very good. It's very heat resistant. And this here is dual start. The main dies, you go like that, and you got another 275 amps.
How much did that cost?
127. Sears. Too bad.
And about how many miles you got on the car, Jerry?
Just under 7,000.
You happy with the car?
Thrilled with it. No complaints whatsoever.
No problems or anything?
Dealership is. But
where'd you buy the car?
Bought it at Bayside Chrysler.
And you're from where? Where do you live?
I'm from Flushing.
The exhaust is now off the car. HKS exhaust. Yeah? Yeah. Is it all stock? I'm sorry? Well, 27,255. And the exhaust is off. The catalyst.
I have pound my uptown, where I work. Got a Supra. The HKS exhaust. Sounds hot.
This is the old and the new. You can see the old exhaust system. You can also see the new one where pipe diameter is a lot different on the car. So far, it only took Luigi about less than 30 minutes, I think, to drop the old exhaust system. And he's already starting on putting on the muffler and pipe. The guy's a genius.
Okay, the aspirator tube here is for emissions. A new cat that you have, because it's hollow, it doesn't have an adapter for the fitting here. So I'm going to have to remove the whole aspirator tube out of the way. Okay?
Gotcha, thanks. Also installed on the car, Luigi also put in, you'll see these yellow 8mm spark plug wires that were installed approximately 2 months ago.
Doing that. Huh? Yeah, yeah. Oxygen sensor.
We got you. There's the turbo. Yeah. Wish it was a bigger one, but.
Keep all these bolts and nuts just in case. You never knows, you know?
Sure.
Same for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Here's the fun part.
I'll get there. I'm sorry? What did you say?
This is the fun part.
It's real hard, huh?
Not really hard, just that.
Luigi, what is this that you took off?
Aspirator tube.
It's called aspirator tube, and it's for pollution or?
Pollution, right.
Okay.
this is a factory cat we have here.
That is mounted near the turbo, is that right?
Right next to the turbo, to the manifold. The turbo mounts on here. This is a new one here, which is not a cat, it's the fitting a pipe. It takes the place of it for better flow.
Right.
And that's pretty much it there.
Yeah. Exhaust is all finished. Next I added red line motor oil. Also got this through the club. And it's 20 W50 weight racing motor oil, synthetic oil. I bought this from the car club November 21st, 1990. I bought 6 quarts at $39. That includes a club discount, plus the tax and everything. I walked away with 6 quarts at $41.73.
This is just what I've been waiting for.
Is that the Mitsubishi stuff?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Gary, I'd really rather look at this. Excuse me?
Oh, sure.
Hello?
Hi, hon. Jack, you shouldn't have. Some guys from Mitsubishi just delivered a car.
That's a 3000 GT VR4. I'm test driving it as soon as it gets dark.
Do you want me to check it out?
No! Nobody but nobody is supposed to see, touch, or even smell this car. Not even you, honey. That's why I'm doing it after dark.
No problem. I'll see you later, honey.
What a beauty. I'd love to get my hands on that baby. Look at this. All-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, active aero electronically controlled shocks.
Gary, don't you have some work you're supposed to be doing?
A 3-liter V6, twin turbochargers, twin intercoolers, a 300 horsepower. Yow!
Gary.
Driver's side airbag, ABS, active exhaust.
Gary. See you later, Gary. And now what? Hello, Jackie. What?
Jack, I was wondering what you'd think if I could look at the stuff later. After you're done, of course.
After I'm done. If I get done. They moved the article forward. Copy's due 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Maybe I could help.
Yeah, well, maybe you can. Why not? Let's do it. Okay. Use the concept, okay?
The all-wheel drive has a planetary gear center differential. Viscous coupling transfers power to both front and rear differentials.
So the power goes to the wheels that need it.
Exactly. Front to rear torque split ratio of 45-55.
Rear wheel bias gives the driver that classic control feel. This is a real sports car.
Four-wheel steering. Steers the rear wheels in phase with the front at speeds over 31 miles an hour.
Increases response and stability. This active aero system is slick.
Above 50, a motor pushes the air dam down 3 inches. Changes the angle of the rear spoiler by 14 degrees. Minimizes the lift at the rear of the car.
So its speed rises, downforce increases.
Electronically controlled three-way shock absorbers.
Yeah, in tour mode, the suspension automatically goes from soft to medium to hard, depending on how you're driving. Sport mode sets the damping hard for performance driving. Also, McPherson struts in front, double wishbones in back.
That's an outstanding layout.
Now, new Getrag 5-speed high-torque transmission with double synchronizers on first and second. Four-sensor, 2-channel, ABS standard, huge ventilated disc brakes all around. 4 pistons on the front. Here's something interesting. This dual-mode muffler system. They call it active exhaust. Put it in silent. It lowers the exhaust noise below 3,000 RPMs by actually reducing the size of the main muffler port intake. It won't disturb the neighbors.
This is the 3000 GT SL.
Even though the SL is normally aspirated, it still delivers 222 horses.
That's a serious sports machine. Okay, let's sum up the 3000 GT VR4.
Well, in luxury, we've got climate control, power seats and windows, and driver's side airbag for safety, and ABS.
And we get super sports features like active aero, all-wheel drive.
And four-wheel steering.
And he's gonna be fast.
Mitsubishi's projections indicate 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. And the quarter mile in under 14 seconds.
Well, now for the fun stuff.
I thought I heard you. Let's get you guys on the road.
We'll tell you all about it when we get back.
sports car racers and enthusiasts from all over North America make a pilgrimage to Road Atlanta for the Sports Car Club of America's Valvoline runoffs. National championship honors are on the line, and more than 550 drivers have earned the right to race for the gold in 22 classes.
Showroom Stock A had the greatest variety of cars of the showroom races. Although the Mitsubishi Starion is most popular, Dodge, Mazda, BMW, Shelby, Nissan, Toyota, Peugeot, and Saab were also represented. Scott Grissom, number 7, had his Starion on the pole next to the Starion of Dave Lapham, number 60. When the 29-car field got to go, Grissom took the lead in front of Lapham. Segundo Quinones, number 74, passed Lapham to take second. Heading for the bridge, Lapham made an outside move and took second. As Lapham challenged Grissom for the lead, Albert Mirko, number 19, took third. Lapham took the lead while defending champion Bob Allison, number 39, and Cal Scavenis, number 70, tangled in a battle for fifth. Lapham won the halfway $1,000 bonus with Grissom in his shadow and Wiley Timbrook, number 2, watching from third. On the last lap, on the back straight, Grissom pulled alongside Lapham and Timbrook tucked in behind. Entering turn number 11, Timbrook found his opening and took the lead. Wiley Timbrook of Golden, Colorado led only 2 turns to win his first national championship. Lapham finished second, and Grissom was third.